from Honorable Ngala Gerard in Donga Mountain Division to Honorable Nga Estella in Biamen in Kumu, it is a song of national unity, an end to the ongoing Anglophone crisis, an end to the hostilities of the known state arms groups in their different constituencies. In all of these, the members of parliament are here to officially take the baton of the Anglophone crisis in their rostrum. They are here to discuss on the importance of putting an end to the ongoing Anglophone crisis, which started from 2016 in the heat of the teachers and the lawyers' protests right up to date, with thousands of lives lost, hundreds of thousands of people displaced internally, hundreds of homes razed by flame, and uncountable people who have disappeared as far as the conflict is concerned, with millions of CFA lost by businessmen and women, with schools yet to be officially open in some divisions and some localities within the north and southwest region, with a lot of others in Douala and different regions suffering as far as internally displaced persons are concerned, with farmlands and institutions all deserted and razed as far as the conflict is concerned, with a successful organization of the municipal, legislative and presidential elections alongside the regional council election, yet the members of parliament are singing the song of ending the conflict in their constituency, but being silent at where they ought to speak most. We all watched and heard Honorable Nga Estella in Biamen talking about the end of Amber hostility. In her words, she said, all those who are left now in Biamen are all terrorists, and we will send out the terrorists, and the government will construct the roads that have been up for since God called Abraham and yet to be constructed. The members of parliament are still playing the ping pong game as far as risking the lives of those in their different constituencies concerned. It is time for our members of parliament to officially look into the ongoing Anglophone crisis and put an end to this conflict by discussing on ways in which the parliament can mitigate or reduce the tension plaguing those in the north and southwest region, and possibly reduce the kind of rhetoric words used by both camps in terms of those advocating for federation and those advocating for an accelerated decentralization. Regardless of the eye you stand, there is one thing that stands between us, that is the good of the common man. The common man is now caught between the Dale and the deep blue sea, where both parties are using as far as promoting their agenda is concerned. Whether we like it or not, all of us shall come and go. Cameroon will remain Cameroon. This is my editorial for today as we officially begin the program. We'll be coming back after this brief transition, and this is House of Commons with me, TAH MAI JAVIS. Romans 13:1-5. As you reflect on that, we begin the program. Today's edition, we are looking at the context of living together. We have been hearing the more charitable song being sung by all in Cameroon, that Vive Ensemble, living together, living together. Yes, there is living together in Cameroon, but is there eating together? And if there is eating together, how have we been eating together? And what will it take for us to effectively eat together? If we've been eating together and there are some discrepancies alongside how we eat, what should we do to ensure that the eating together becomes effective in a way that we will all say, "O Cameroon, cradle of our fathers"? To begin the program, I introduce to you my guest, with whom we are going to ride on for 1 hour 30 minutes here in our studios of Fengudjombange, Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I begin by introducing to you Professor Prof Mc, who is a Pan-Africanist and someone who believes in the values and the virtues of Africans, and stand of the opinion that Africans have the sole right to their destiny and can determine what and when to do with their destiny. Professor Prof Mc is equally an event planner and has been struggling to promote the cultural diversity of Cameroon in the international international scene with the recent Pan-Affairs Award and Pan-Affairs Cultural Week that was organized in 2020 December. Professor Akumon, a privilege to have you here. Thanks for joining us, and a happy Sunday.
Thank you very much, TAH MAI JAVIS, for this opportunity. It's a privilege to be here, and I want to say good morning to my fellow panelists and to you million viewers out there watching at us this morning. I believe that this is another Sunday, another day for learning, another day for education, and I believe that the purpose for which I am here is not to speak my opinions, but to present facts to Africans that and to Cameroonians that will permit them to be able to decide what to do with their own destiny, because I believe each and every one of us, we have the power to design our destiny, and we have the time and choice to make that happen. It depends on you, and it depends on what you do with it.
Thank you. Here in the show we also have NDIWUM Emmanuel, who is also a civil society advocate and someone that has been firm as far as promoting the agenda of objectivity, fairness, balance, and equally equitable distribution of wealth in Cameroon with the respect of human rights, freedom, and democracy. NDIWUM Emmanuel is also grounded as far as African policies are concerned, as far as Cameroon's policy is concerned. NDIWUM Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. A privilege to have you, and a happy Sunday.
Thank you very much, TAH MAI JAVIS, and greetings to my able co-panelists. I'm always happy each time we share the same platform. And greetings to my mother, Mama Kanisia, who is watching. And I would like to tell you that this program is watched right at the presidency in Yaoundé. And I'm giving you people this message at the presidency. If you want to work faster or quickly, you walk alone. But if you want to go far or further, you go together. Today we will talk about togetherness. How I wish you people take down your notes today about living together.
Thank you very much. These are the gentlemen, and we're expecting one person to join us as far as the conversation is concerned. And you can join the conversation by sending us an SMS on the number on your screen, or a WhatsApp text in case you may want to contribute or disagree with any of my panelists as far as this program for today is concerned. To begin the program, I start by introducing, by talking to you, Professor Akumon. Professor Akumon, we've looked at the most. I want us to revisit the event in Kumbu first before coming straight to the topic itself. We all watched Honorable Nga Estella in Yemen, in Kumbu, precisely in the northwest region of Cameroon, with a bullet vest, talking about the fact that all is well and people should leave the bush is supposed to come back to the town and to chase away the terrorists in her world. Do you think that the members of parliament are ready as far as resolving this Anglophone crisis is concerned, or is it just a smokescreen?
You see, I am so disappointed with the members of parliament in this country, Cameroon. I feel disappointed for the fact that we have been having a crisis that is hitting the nation, and which has gotten international recognition and responses from the international community, but our own parliament has not been able to raise a word concerning it. And I remember the SDF tried doing it, but it was brought to nothing. What surprises me is the fact that the CPDM parliamentarian of Mbeme, Nga Estella, who actually presented herself before the people of Yemen and was telling them that they need to drive away the terrorists and that there is no terrorists. You see, she was actually contradicting herself. There are no terrorists, but she's putting on a bulletproof on her body. And apart from that, she's trying to convince the people that a road that has been for years, in fact, since Cameroon got its united, it had never been constructed. You are claiming that it will be done now because you want to come and talk to the people. It is funny, and when we wish actually that the roads could be constructed is a nice thing, but to go stand and make that public declaration that there are no these, well, maybe she's right, there are no terrorists. We have separatists in the bushes. We might want to tag them terrorists, but they have a secessionist agenda. They are not terrorists that are struggling to terrorize the nation. they are secessionists. And so maybe she was right in presenting that statement that we do not have terrorists here in this land. He said those who are in the bushes, they are thieves. Yeah, we could also accept that statement. But I feel disappointed that he is saying that to a people when she's not living in Kumbo. She's going to speak like that, and after she leaves,
Heavily guarded.
heavily guarded. And when she leaves, if the people dare to do what she says, they are the ones that are going to suffer. We are not saying that the people cannot stand against these guys who are actually creating havoc in the society.
We've seen in other areas where the
People have risen.
up.
Yes,
And
they do not need
yes,
a parliamentarian to come and tell
like-
them, but that one is politics.
A recent example is Bule Bakundu.
Yes. Yeah, the Bole Bakundu people actually asked the military to remain, not to stay and protect them. That those boys are disturbing. Those things will happen. I remember the guys actually went out to face these secessionists in order to free their phone, whom had been captured
Without an MP.
Without an MP. So that is an issue that the people can do by themselves. It doesn't need a political personality to step in and say this is when herself will not be present. I know she's struggling to look at what Ngala Gerard has been doing in before Ngala Gerard became a parliamentarian. He was already doing what he's doing. So I'm surprised that it is not that she's appearing. I don't know why she's struggling to want to compare with the young parliamentarian Ngala Gerard. Ngala Gerard actually was there at the forefront before ever becoming a parliamentarian. Before he even showed his desire and ambition to become a parliamentarian, he was in Nkambe.
And he has been consistent.
And he has been consistent. After he became a parliamentarian, and has still been there. So I am shocked when I see some individuals, they are struggling to make political gains using the lives of people and struggling to copy what they saw in another place and paste. It is very wrong. And I'll advise her, if she really wants to do that, she should remove that vest from her body and then go live in Biame. Because as a parliamentarian, she's supposed to be living with her people. She's supposed to be in Biame. When her call to go for sessions in Yaoundé comes, she leaves and goes. She's supposed to have an office there in Biame. Ask her, right now as we are talking, does she have an office in Biame? She will tell you no, she does not. Her office might be found somewhere in Bamenda if she even goes there.
In someone else's
constituency. And those are the issues. If she's not even in Bamenda, she's in Yaoundé all the time. But she claims to be the parliamentarian of the Biame people, and as a result of that is struggling to push them into more chaos. I will advise the people of Biame, if in case you think that you want to stand against the secessionists, it should be a decision you are making, not because a politician came and lure you into a hot pot.
Briefly, before I move to the other member, the side, I want to, in her outing, she talked about the construction of the route. As far as the roads are concerned, that she talked about the fact that the roads will be constructed, that she will talk with other MPs about the pride. Is it that the other MPs don't know what is happening in Anglophone? Because she kept on saying, I will talk with other MPs. And secondly, I want to ask you, is it the role of an MP to construct a road? Because she's talking about the construction of a road.
Thank you for that question. It is very deceptive for a parliamentarian to stand before the people and talk of a road construction. Her duty is to make laws. And if she's supposed to assist in the construction, she's supposed to sit in that parliament and make laws that will favor the people. Her duty is not to go construct roads. They have stopped the deception. And that's the thing that has been in this Cameroon for long. Deception. Anytime politicians step before people, they think they can play with their emotions, and when they play with their emotions, they deceive them. You see, she said she's going to talk with her mayor. I want to believe that it is the mayor has his duty to play, and if the mayor has been in that constituency and sees that road and has not been able to do it, it's not her influence that's going to help. It's not about her talking to other parliamentarians that will change it. We want her to talk in the house. Let her present the problem in the house. When she goes back, I think this March they will be sitting. Let her go to the house, present the problem of her people, tell the president of the house that there is fire that is on the mountain. We need to quench it. Let that be done in the house. and it will go so far to assist in solving the problem. It's not all about coming and standing on TV and making a lot of noise among people with a big vest on her body. She's not even wear something to cover it. It was open, a bullet vest. That was to make us understand that she is even afraid, and she wants the people to step out.
NDIWUM Emmanuel, I'll still come to you with the same question. We all saw the outing of Honorable Nga Estella in Yemen. I know you're familiar with issues as far as the Northwest region is concerned, especially within Kumbu, moving right or to come and to women, especially in Menchum division. Yeah. And when you saw the video about her talking about the aspect that there are no terrorists, but there are terrorists and there are thieves and the rest, people should come out, what immediately was your reaction as far as you as a civil society advocate?
I want to start by saying, you know, we have political misfits in Cameroon, not politicians. I say without mixing words, and she's one. It's like when somebody gets to power through the ticket of CPM. They don't longer use the 5 human senses. To be honest with you, almost all of them, they are suffering from what we call in literature linguistic inflation. There are not terrorists here, there are terrorists here. They say many words chasing very few ideas. For those who have done a bit of economics. And she is not the only one in this pot soup. All of them, starting from the head to the bottom, they are the same. What I want to tell this MP today is that the best security is not the gendarmes, the police, the military, the ammo cars, and the gun proofs that you put around you. But the best security is the peace pact that you sign with the people around you. If you want to be a successful politician, I am not one, you can build your security by making a peace pact with those who are around you. Immediately this is done. You don't need gendarme, you don't need police, you don't need the military, you don't need bullet proofs, you don't need ammo cars to go and hide inside and use the microphone to talk to the people. But what really took my attention in this issue was not all what she jabbered there. It is the fact that it's coming from a woman. And that tells you the degree and the point at which Cameroon is dying down every day morally. Because a woman is supposed to be at the forefront of peace-seeking missions in the world, not limited to Cameroon. That is why if you want things done, give them to the woman. But if you want things set, give them to the men. Because men will not actually do it the way the men will do it. And I'm shocked and disappointed at you, madam. I'm disappointed at you, so-called honorable.
No, but she is playing her role as far as the party policy is concerned, because the party stands for accelerated decentralization. Because before we used to have decentralization, but it seems as that much investment has been done in rebranding it now to accelerated decentralization. So you will not say you are disappointed with her. Let me
enlighten you,
as policy is concerned.
Let me enlighten you that decentralization has nothing to do. That the so-called accelerated decentralization has nothing to do with the MPs. The MP is not an administrative structure. You need to know that. So you don't even need to below that point that she was on her duty. Which duty? How many times has she been to that place since people were running helter-skelter every day? Those who are sleeping in the bushes. Does she even know the neighbors around. Does she even live there? She's not living there.
Are you sure?
No, we are very sure. Very sure. I said without fear of being criticized. I am telling you that she is not living there. And I have a list of the parliamentarians of Norway. I'll give it to you, a journalist. And I have their locations, 70% of them in Yaoundé. I will not call names. I know they are afraid I will call the name, but I will not call. But one day I will start calling. Because
so they are not in their constituency.
They are not in their constituency.
So they were voted by the people.
No, they were not voted by the people. See, you wonder every day we should be coming back to how these elections took place in Cameroon. But I don't want us, that's not our point of interest for today. What I want to say is that a parliamentarian is supposed to be with the people, because the deficit that the people go through in their developmental projects is supposed to be carried to the glass house by these parliamentarians. Even though I have strongly believed and I still maintain that we don't yet have parliamentarians in Cameroon, we have some group of hand clappers who have had the opportunity to be in the glass house, and immediately they reach there, they don't know who voted them in. That is why on this same platform I've constantly told you that I don't like when you talk and you ask a question related to the structure called Senate in this country, because they are the same people. There is no, they have zero achievement. So these are not even people should be discussing. But I'm so much disappointed by this woman. Madam, if you are watching Media Prime, you have to rethink.
But she's a politician, so
put on your thinking cap. It is not every politician that must succeed, and it is not every politician that must fail. But if you find yourself on the failing side, madam, pray for time.
I want
to be on your side.
I want to ask you this. The same question I asked Professor Mark. We've seen MPs talking about construction of roads, provision of electricity, water supply, construction of infrastructures as far as their different constituencies are concerned. We equally watched the Honorable Nga Estella talking about the construction of roads in Yemen. These are roads seemingly that have been there since before God called Abraham. And is it a role of an MP to talk about construction of roads? You are a civil society advocate, and when that is said within the environment, what reaction do you expect from the people?
Here we are in a country of talking and no action takes place. That is why I started by saying that it's like when you are on the ticket of CBDM, you suffer from linguistic inflation, because you will say many things and even say what is not within your powers. I've never seen where a parliamentarian is constructing roads, and that is why we have councils and mayors. Look, in the National Assembly, the parliamentarians have what we call micro and macro grants and projects, and they have to work in synergy with their councils so that they forward the needs of the people to the assembly. Though unfortunately we don't have a National Assembly, we have our hand clappers there. This woman, I think that's the only point I should appreciate her for that. I'm appreciating her for letting us once more know that in this country the CPDM people are there to do their talking, and nobody knows exactly what he or she is supposed to do. Nobody has a well-defined role to play. And so in the midst of this confusion, time has come that they keep by their songs, their gestures and their talkings has proven to us that this government in place does not have a roadmap for this country. They don't.
But the government, the president of the republic, who was voted in 2018, said he has a vision, and that by 2035 Cameroon will become an emerging nation. And he equally talked about grand opportunity, great realization, and great ambition, and the aspect of rigor and moralization. And you're saying that all of these things are just mere theories?
When he talks of rigor and moralization, did you tell your microphone to him to find out why half of his government is in Konenge?
That's rigor.
Is that rigor?
That's rigor and moralization, man. He sent them.
Now, did you try to find out from him all the promises that he has been making since he wants to live like Methuselah in power? Has he ever fulfilled any of them? Where's the railroad in Bamenda? When I was 4 years that he announced it, till date. No. Look, I think this government needs to stop talking and start acting. Nothing is being done in Cameroon, but a lot of talking is being done.
I think at the next brief issue I want us to react, as far as this is concerned, is the issue of the child that beat up the discipline master in West Region, in the West Region, where he beat up the discipline master alongside the principal, and he was arrested by the gendarmerie, later released, and came back again and destroyed some of the doors. You are a pedagogue. In such situation, where are we heading to as far as discipline in school is concerned?
If you have people who cannot make, then they can ma. If you have people who will not make, then they will ma. I think it's becoming so recurrent in Cameroon that teachers are like the toys in the hands of the learners. You see, and what disturbs and beats my imagination there the more is that you are arrested by the gendarmerie. Later on, because I'm sure that a lot of calls went through, later on you are released. It's just like the thieves that are the owners of all the main streets in the city of Douala and Yaoundé. They are arrested in the evening and you see them on the road the next day. I had a situation, please, just one. I had a situation last week where a thief actually stole somebody's motorbike, was arrested, and when he was about to be sent to New Bell, the family came up with 600,000. Do you know that it is this same police that called their colleagues who were already on Bopi that they should not ferry this man to New Bell, and that man is walking the streets of Douala free after enumerating the number of bikes that he has been stealing, and that he has a gang at Point Blancherie, Dakar, and these people did not even investigate to dismantle this gang. And like you asked, my brother, where are we heading to? We are only heading to more chaos.
Professor Akumbong, the same situation, the same question I asked you, as far as West Region is concerned. We've had series of school violence against teachers and administrative officials. I think there was a point in time when math set was used against a teacher in Yaoundé, and this time around in West Region we saw that a student got the discipline master were beaten alongside the principal, arrested by gendarmerie. After a few hours he was released, and he came back again to the school and destroyed some of the school properties, leaving warning that he will be back for a more dangerous movement as far as his grievances are concerned. Where are we heading to?
The generation Android, that's how they are called, right? You see, when we destroy the values of our community, we allow imperialism to tamper with our very innermost culture, values that permit us to be able to live from the point of moralist. We become immoral. Africa is one of those continents that was supposed to be at the forefront when it comes to moral. I remember in 1835, Sir Macaulay made a pronouncement in front of the parliament in the UK when he presented these strong words. Let me repeat them to you. He said, I've gone all around that nation. He was talking of Africa as a whole, and I've not seen anyone poor. Secondly, he says they have very strong moral values and a very strong educational system. He used the word traditional educational system. And he said the reason why this educational system is this strong is because of the values, the spirituality of the people. So the spirituality of the people permits them to have strong moral values and to have an educational system that is holistic, that teaches them. It teaches them both spiritually, it teaches them physically. So it is a holistic educational system that permits them to learn and know themselves. But look at it. Look at it. The educational system we have today is an educational system that focuses on struggling to increase your brain, but has no power to increase your spiritual person. It is not holistic. It focuses on the outer and abandons the real thing, self. Once somebody is educated to know who he is, such an individual becomes very moral and strong. No doubt why today Biden is threatening African nations to adopt the homosexual laws and whatsoever. That is to prove to you how imperialists are struggling to completely destroy Africa. I want to blame the issue of that child not only on the Europeans, but onto our own parents, whom have allowed their children to be trained by schools. Education begins at home. Morality is something that is inculcated at home. Strong moral values in a community are supposed to be inculcated at home. And that is why I'll tell you this. There is a philosophy we hold as Pan-Africanists in Africa. It's called Ubuntu. Ubuntu means I am because you are, and you are because I am. Implying that as an African, there is this proverb which I'll use to support it. It says, when you give birth to a child, it is your child when it's still in your womb. But it takes a village to raise a child. So the moment a child leaves your womb, it is the community's child. And so the values that those children are receive begins from home and the community. And when that is not done, what do you expect? An immoral child, a child that is wayward, becomes a result. Schools were not actually created to give only head knowledge. Schools were created to help bring out from within you who you are and what you possess. That is why the word education comes from the word edukos, which actually means to bring out of you. So it is created to pull out from within you that which you possess in you, implying that education is meant for one purpose: self-realization. And you can't attain self-realization when they are feeding your head and preparing you to have a job. Because that is a system of education we have today, a system of education that prepares the heads of people and not their person. And once their heads are prepared, what do you expect at the end of the day? They will go out there. A teacher does not see, in our days, students will look at teachers like gods.
Your parents will go and report you to school.
My God.
And they will trash you in school. But this time is a reverse.
First of all, there are laws that have been adopted which were imposed by Europeans, that you are not supposed to beat a child in school. That is not what was in our days. In our days, you will be beaten in front of the school. There was a cane that was used. You always see a lecturer, a teacher with a cane in his hand. But today, it is different. We are raising vanguards. We are raising.
I think we've seen there was a case in West Region where a law enforcement officer went to school and beat up the teacher because the teacher
got her child beaten.
Yes.
That is based on the laws which we have adopted from Europe, from America. Imperialism is destroying our culture, is destroying our environment. And we are struggling to copy a people who do not have any direction. Europeans as a whole do not have morals. They are a people that they are barbaric from within. And I'm shocked to see that Africans are copying their useless and dirty laws and implementing in Africa. Even in the Bible says you should not spare the rod lest you spoil the child, implying that you have to whip the child when the child goes wrong. You have to correct the child. But such children, there's another one might be forgotten, where a child removed a gun.
Yes, I think a child removed a gun this week. That was in Nigeria.
Yes.
Removed a gun to shoot.
So question.
The teacher merely asked her to cut off the tinted hair which she had.
How did she have a gun? Europe has destroyed Africa. America is destroying Africa. She has a right to remove a gun. This one will beat God. When we used to hear of Surveillance General, or what we call a discipline master, you look for a place to disappear, because the way he will trash you. But I'm shocked that a young man have the boldness to stumble on a disciplinary master. That is even better. What about the one in Yaoundé that killed a teacher? Those are the things that we must get to start thinking.
And teachers in Douala keep facing threats
every day
from the pupils and the students they are teaching.
That is where I think that Africa needs to come back to its senses. Our leaders need to start thinking on how to withdraw from most of these European treaties and American treaties that they entered, which permits them to become slaves forever.
Okay.
And so that we can be able to rebuild from the base. Okay. Because Africa has what it takes to become the best of continents in the world. When it comes to moral values, we have the best of moral values. I was shocked when I saw a young girl posting on Facebook, an African and a Cameroonian, claiming that two homosexuals or whatsoever, LGBT, had been arrested and locked up in Nube. If I am concerned with justice, until one of them get pregnant, they are supposed to remain there in prison.
Thank you very much, Professor Akumbong. I think we will now move straight to what our topic of today is, because that was to give you a roundup as to what was making news around Cameroon as far as last week and the weekend is concerned. Martin Luther King said education without morals is like a ship without a compass, mere wandering to nowhere. And it is time for us to start looking at morality as a center of education with a Cameroon that needs to emerge by 2035 if the vision remains unchanged. I come to you, NDIWUM Emmanuel. Topic for today, is there a problem with eating together? We've been hearing the more song about living together, Vivian Sam, but seemingly we are not eating together.
Tamai, I'm sorry it took you a little longer to come to the main topic, of which we really needed time for that. There are a lot of things we need to diagnose on this topic. One, to be very succinct with you, if somebody says there is no problem with living together and eating together among Anglophones and central government in this country, that person should be the highest, should be the most dishonest person on the planet Earth. Yes, it is. there is a very big problem of eating together. And we go now to the crux of the matter. How is the problem and why is the problem? Is my point of concern. History has not forgotten that in 1961 there was a meeting at Fumban where Southern Cameroon decided to join their brothers east of the Mongo.
The then Republic of Cameroon.
Yes. Even though some people describe this meeting as a meeting that was characterized by a lot of gaiety. People went there for whining, dancing, and at the end of the day their brains lost sight of the issue of the day. And that is where the problem of the living together started. Remember, in this country, if there was a possibility for the regime to shoot and kill history, because they are used to shooting, they would have shot and killed this particular historical event. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Now, what has actually aggravated or nourished the problem of this living and eating together falls on the shoulder of many factors. One of such factors we have tribalism, the tribalistic tendencies that exist in this country. Secondly, we know that Anglophones are looked upon in this country as second-class citizens. That is why
the government will tell you that that seemingly is a hypothesis, because lots of amendment, according to what government keeps saying, has been done to ensure the equitable distribution of income, especially at the level of the ministerial position, the level of the representative of the different ministerial appointments and cabinet, as far as the appointment equally of divisional and administrative delegate and officials are concerned.
Okay, I wanted to talk first on living together before talking on eating together. You see, the problem of living together, like I said, it is traced back to the failure of Fumban. Is because the constitution of Fumban first was violated, and that makes the living together almost forever difficult. Remember that in 1990, in June 1990, when Foncha was resigning, he lamented and regretted the mistake he made in Fumban, because he continued to be vice, and until today Anglophones remain vice.
But is there a problem of living together?
There is a very big problem of living
together. I am from the Northwest region. I'm sure Professor Akumbom too, and you yourself, and we've never been chased away from Douala, and we've never been seeing people chased away from Boya because they are from the other regions of Cameroon. Therefore, to me, I could be tempted to say there is no problem of living together.
Well, thank God you say you could be tempted, not that you are saying. You see, actually, the highest problem is eating together, and the problem of living together is at 60-65%, which means that there is a problem. Because when you start getting words like go to a ministry in Yaoundé and somebody tells you je ne comprends pas votre patois là, that's already a problem of living together. Take another case, when somebody say vous les Bamenda, that's already a problem of living together. When somebody say vous les Anglophones, and I want to tell you that during the tripartite that took place in this country some years back, there is a famous minister who has been renamed today, part of the Constitutional Council, who said it clear, and I quote: si vous n'êtes pas d'accord, vous pouvez rentrer au Nigeria, là où que vous étiez avant. vous êtes le Biafra. That is a minister of the state talking to a people. And such language has wound and is wounding the hearts of a people who came together in a gentleman's agreement, thinking that they wanted to live together. There's a lot to be said about that, but let me talk about eating together before I give the mic to Professor Mark. Eating together has 95% problem, because we're in a country where if your name does not start with a particular letter, you are a line. We're in a country where tell me the family where you come from, and I will tell you the post that you can have in this country, and that is the eating together. And this has been accentuated by the fact that tribalism, corruption, chronic corruption, because I think corruption, the definition of corruption should be coming from our country. Chronic corruption has made it such that those who are in the helm of affairs think about themselves, their stomachs, and their families, and little or nothing is left for the low man.
Okay, Professor Mark Akumbong, is there a problem of us living together? And if there is a problem of living together, eating together amongst Anglophones and the central government, do we eat together as far as this nation is concerned?
There's a lot to put together to be able to come to the point where today we have the problem we have, because sincerely there is a problem with eating together.
So there's no problem with living together.
There is also a problem with living together, because the problem of eating together comes from the problem of living together. It will be a nice thing when a people decide by themselves to sell out their lives and destiny to another, or might be to make a choice to say, okay, I want to live with these people and on equal terms, and they finally can live them to eat together. What did I say? Go back. You remember when you listen to most of our brothers of French expression, and they want to present the situation in which we find ourselves today. They say Cameroon, Southern Cameroons actually during the plebiscite voted to join back the motherland, which is a wrong statement, because if you have to go back after War I ended in 1916, the French and the English actually took the possessions of the Germans, and when they did that, they shared it among themselves.
One took 1 feet and the other took 4 feet.
4 feet. And when they did that, it is later on that it became the property of the League of Nations. It was not before. It was not the League of Nations that gave these properties to the French. It is rather the French and the English that gave it back to the League of Nations and took it back. Why? As a mandatory territory. Why? Because it was, they were the ones who were even the head there. And later on in 1945, after the First World War ended, if we go back to look at the trusteeship agreement between the UN and Britain, which is number A/152/REV of December 13th, 1946, you discover that the purpose, that agreement was given through to Britain to prepare these trustee territories for independence, self-determination. So there was no idea of they are preparing it to bring it back to join the French Cameroon. No. When you go back, you discover that the idea of Cameroon with K ended after First World War. The German Cameroon disappeared after First World War. So those who were hailing and talking about Cameroon, that was just a nostalgia for a name that existed, but which had disappeared. So the Southern Cameroons and the French Cameroons were being prepared for what? Self-determination. It was now the duty of Great Britain to prepare the Southern Cameroons towards its personal, towards its self-determination, towards independence. And if you remember, looking back at resolution 1350, that was the resolution that actually was taken to determine the how do you call it, to end the trusteeship and lead this Southern Cameroons to independence, before in resolution 1352 came up, which was now another manipulation link Cameroon to Nigeria or the Republic of Cameroon. These resolutions were actually taken don't prevent nothing. In 1961, there is another resolution that was taken in order to cap the errors that are supposed to happen. And that is called the number 1608, resolution 1608. And if I may ask this question, what does the Charter of the United Nations say is concerning trust territories in Article 72D? It says that we need, when you are given a trust territory, you are supposed to prepare this trust territory for independence. When that did not happen, the resolution 1608 that was brought in, I see it brought in as a means to help the Southern Cameroons from being swallowed up by the French Cameroon when they actually finally unite. In that resolution, there were three things that were supposed to happen. In that resolutions, there was the trusteeship agreement was supposed to end. The second was that these Southern Cameroons were supposed to be given self-determination rights, independence. So on 13th April, that is the day Southern Cameroons would have stood up and said, okay, now I am free. Then the third part of it is what was supposed to bring them now together. But when you go to it, there are articles that were written in it. If you go look at Article 5, because trusteeship ended in Article 4 of that same resolution. Yeah. When you go to Article 5, you see where Cameroon was, the Southern Cameroons was given an opportunity which those who were leading us did not see. I have a problem today. Southern Cameroons has a problem today. And Cameroon as a whole has a problem today because of the deception that had existed from the very beginning of the idea of independence.
It's like if the pillar is not stable, if the foundation is not stable, the building cannot be stable.
It is just but normal. We had feeble leaders who were leading the whole idea of the union.
Now, but the government is saying through a different arms and ministry that irrespective of how the foundation started, that much effort has been done to consolidate the national unity, to consolidate the living together, the Viva Sam, and above all to ensure that there is equitable distribution of income. Though it may be Lopez, do you buy that? I want
to be categorical here. This semantic should stop. If we have to build a solid union, then we must speak, we must present truth. A nation that is built on deception, a nation that is built on craftiness, a nation that is built on lies, can never have sustainable unity. If we have to have sustainable unity and see Cameroon excel and become that nation of peace that we all want it to be, then we must visit the foundation, solve the problems which existed at the moment. Let me be sincere. I heard Mr. NDIWUM made a statement about the conference in Fumban. That, can you imagine that for the time that these guys stayed in Fumban, every day they were partying, and it was on the last day that they had 90 minutes to use to discuss a constitutional matter that would bring two different states together.
We were even told when we were doing history that a form was presented that someone should sign among the delegation. The president we Sheri and signed it.
You see, these are the issues. The funny thing about that particular conference in Fumban is that there's no written agreement anywhere that you could use to say, okay, there was a meeting. Nope. That meeting, if you go back, okay, during that time we had Emmanuel I'm talking the subdivisional officer who was in Fumban, Emmanuel Joya. If you listen to his confession, he said they were given direct instructions to make sure that they manipulate these guys and keep them in a situation where at the end of the day they will just do things without being pulled. When finally on the last day of the meeting, when they were about to leave, 90 minutes before time, President Aijo presented the draft constitution. When that draft constitution was presented, his team, Foncha's team, was shocked. And for the past while, they said you had this particular draft and we do not have it. Why? But where we have two reasons why I can say maybe it was a lie or maybe it was true. But let me keep that. When you go to that conference, you discover that in those 90 minutes, NNBele made a declaration, because that was the only person with clear eyes. That was the only person with clear eyes there. He asked that, how can you give us how can we discuss constitutional matters in a day, in 90 minutes? It's not possible. Then they had a Bamenda conference.
Bamenda all-party conference.
Yes.
But where was he during all these that the members had?
He don't forget that he was of the Ndele team. He was not of the Foncha team, so he was having a lower voice.
So okay, briefly, let's get the from there. Let's see how it translated for us not eating together.
That is where I want to learn.
Yes.
That particular constitution was not a constitution that was drafted by these two entities that were supposed to come together. That constitution was a revised constitution of La République du Cameroun, the then La République du Cameroun, that had its independence in 1960, January 1960. And when Mr. Ijo sat down, he revised the constitution of his entity, political entity, then came and imposed it on another entity that was supposed to join him. That is the first problem. And when the people who are sat in the all Anglophone the Bamenda all party conference came, they had made up their decisions. He says they wanted that the capital city should be in Douala. They wanted that they had some resolutions they presented, the anthem and all those things. Aijo rejected everything that they presented except for one.
Which was
that then a meeting of a gentleman agreement? Was that a meeting of two equal entities coming to meet together to talk? And when you get into the constitution, you see the constitution played maneuver. In it presented Southern Cameroon as an independent entity, at the same time as a sub entity, and at the same time, so there was total manipulation in the constitution.
Okay.
And as a result of that, he went before. Take note, in that constitution, it shows that La République du Cameroun was uniting with a trust territory, not with an independent state. Why? Because that constitution was actually promulgated 30th, that was in September.
September
when
1961.
When in reality it was supposed to be done on the 1st of October
1961.
when Cameroon, Southern Cameroon, was supposed to actually ascend to self-determination, independence, then union. He placed the streaks, presented it in a way that he can now come, and then there is no union agreement
now,
that is presented.
I want to get now.
So that already is a position where there is wrong.
So
the agreement, there is no union that permits them to agree. So there is no union treaty. That is the first problem. Let's keep that aside. Let's say, okay, even if there is no union treaty and now they have decided to stay together, it is no more a matter of two states. This state was considered as a region later on, though it was said West and East Cameroon. But as the Constitution of 1972 was changed, that 1972 Act completely annulled anything that existed called the Southern Cameroons. It disappeared. And when it disappeared, that is a faulty beginning.
Okay, I want to understand what makes it that we don't eat together.
Yes, Mr. Javis. We cannot eat together because the Southern Cameroon stays as an annex, or let me use the word, it remains as a sub entity under La Republic du Cameroon, and as a result of that, it does not have the power to bargain even with its own resources. Okay. So in that place, the mother nation now is the one that is exploiting the resources and giving the crumbs to those who are in that direction. Okay. So in this case, we cannot eat together. But if we have to be able to live together and eat together, let us correct those errors that were formulated at the beginning of this nation. That is where I believe that we need to go back to pure federation in order to be able to say that we can eat together.
In which form?
Federation as it was,
okay,
from the very beginning. But we need to restructure the constitution to fit these two entities working together. It is, okay, you see,
thank you.
You see, Cameroon is the only nation in the world, Mr. Andewa, that exists, which has two states that came as two personalities, but one has disappeared within.
Yes, I agree.
Zanzibar and Tanganyika exist today as Tanzania, but they are still together.
Even Togoland.
No, Togoland decided to merge with the Gold Coast before they got to ascended to independence as Ghana. So those are two different things. But here in Cameroon, we have international treaties, international laws that prove that there are two entities in Cameroon.
Professor Akumbong, I will come back to you again. DESMOND Emmanuel, what possibly, I want to understand, you right ago you talked about the fact that we don't eat together. What should we do in this context that we don't eat together, and far as this conflict in the north and southwest region is concerned, what should we do to ensure that we eat together?
You see, the factors that explains why we don't eat together are shared factors. One, I point and a quizzing finger on the hungry Anglophone elite class. Yes, the hungry Anglophone elite class has put the Anglophones in a turmoil where they find it very difficult to come out of it. When you look at the Zabanism in which the Anglophones are treated, they are treated as an obsolete people. There is no point of equality, and I think living together and eating together has to stem from equality first. If one person is already looking at you as a superior, that person cannot accept that you people should share the same meal. When I already know that I am your superior, the car that I drive cannot be the same car that you drive. I placed you at a second class position. And this problem is because our elite, who were supposed to be our mouthpiece, our ears and our eyes, have continued to run after crumbs in Yaoundé, and they have forgotten that they have a people back home that they need to back. They cannot back up these people anymore because crumbs to them are sweeter than a whole. Whereas in our generation, we are looking at the whole. If actually Cameroon belongs to us all, we should be looking at the whole ball, not a fraction of it. And from there, we can sit, live together and eat together. But that has not been the case. That has not been the case.
But when we look at the government structure, NDIWUM, the Prime Minister of this country is an Anglophone. The chief spy of this country is an Anglophone.
Yeah.
The Minister of Secondary Education is an Anglophone. The Minister of Territorial Administration is an Anglophone.
Yes.
We've had the Minister Paul Tassong is an Anglophone. We have a series of other ministers who are Anglophones, and the government often, like Atanganji, Minister Paul Atanganji said during the onset of the Anglophone crisis, that we cannot claim that we are being marginalized in a country where for the past 40-50 years the Prime Minister has been an Anglophone, where in the past 40-50 years the head of custom has been an Anglophone and control huge sums of budget. In the past 40-50 years we have Anglophone who are living in Yaoundé and Douala, and this have been the rhetoric ever since, thereby saying that we have been eating together. As far as that Minister Paul Atanganji is concerned,
please, sometimes you need to conserve your energy, Mr. TAH MAI JAVIS. You don't need to spend energy citing inconsequential figures. You see, have you asked yourself, the Prime Minister is an Anglophone? What power is wielded?
he's the head of government.
What power is wielded on him? Which power does he have? Do you know that this same Prime Minister, when he is speaking on a national TV, people who are supposed to be his subordinate ministers are talking on FRE, contradicting what he is saying? Have you ever for once heard that any of his subordinates have been sanctioned? No, not at all. And why is it that we have been pushed, I'll keep saying it, to the post of vice? This your so-called post that you are talking of, the prime ministerial post, in the constitution of this country, he is the fit personality. He is the fit personality with little or no power wielded on him. So I think he's a figurehead. He's a national figurehead, and this constitutes part of the government manipulation to use names on paper to tell the international world that, look, Anglophones are recognized in this country. We are not recognized. We are recognized as backbenchers. Why are we not recognized as the front benchers, the front seaters? Living together, like I said, okay, let me cite you just a few examples. Go to the military corps. How many Anglophone generals are in the military in this country? Make your findings and then you get back to me. Go back to the Ministry of Defense. Go to the presidency first. How many secretary generals at the head at the presidency are Anglophones in this country?
But you can only have one at a time.
No, you cannot say so. Presently, are we having one at a time? You have Vondo Ayola. You have Ngongo. No, you cannot say that. Except you are misinformed. Find out. Go back to the...
Talking about the Secretary General at the Presidency.
At the Presidency.
Secretary General at the Presidency.
Yes.
Ngongo.
Yes.
We have Deputy Secretary General, but there is only one Secretary General at the President of the Republic, and that's Gongo. And so we can never have two at a time.
No, we cannot.
Talking about the deputies.
We can. Yes, I am talking plus all the deputies. At the presidency, you have, I don't know where it's 2 Deputy Secretary General, and all of them, from the main Secretary General to the last one, are Francophones. Come back to the Ministry of Finance. Where was it written in this country that an Anglophone cannot become a finance minister? Where was it written in this country? Is there a document in this country that spells out that an Anglophone cannot be a minister of defense? No. And when you look at it overall, they will tell you that some of them have even termed us 2 cubes of sugar.
But
that
question is,
that were dropped in the large
question
basin.
is, what do we do so that we can effectively eat together?
No,
we'll take on this brief break. When we come back, I'll continue. We'll use briefly, so I'll move to Professor Mark.
Yeah.
We'll take on this brief break, and when we come back, we'll take on messages and reactions. Thanks for joining us on this edition of our program House of Common. I will take on the messages. This one says the power that be has completely disappointed this country in terms of development for decades, and worst of all, plunged the nation into war. So anybody who still listens to promises is a fool at 40. I wonder the type of legend put in archives. God will in Cambe. The 2 bodies cannot eat together, even with a long spoon, because they are completely different in all domains. Believe me or not, everlasting peace will only come after meaningful dialogue. God will from Cambe. This other one reads, it says, I think it's with great regret to see our students' minds being chopped off by Western culture. It is ironical to see laws in Europe restricting students from being beaten by teachers, but back in the colonial era, they used to flog our forefathers in front of their children. I am Sang Randy in Bamusu Baraki. This other one reads, it says, hello, good morning to all in the studio. Good program. What Cameroonians are harvesting today is a fruit of corruption. Desmond from Yaoundé. Good afternoon to you all in the studio. Good afternoon to you guys in the studio. The worst thing that can happen to a public figure is ignorance. Many politicians in Cameroon do not master their role. It's high time they revise their lessons. My name is Gani Gilbert in Yaoundé. To all those of you who are sending us your SMS, please indicate where you are texting us from so that we can properly acknowledge you. I think on these who are sending us their who have been sending us their WhatsApp text, this one really says, hi, good afternoon, Professor Mark. I think your points are quite elaborate, and I want to appreciate you for giving us the unadulterated truth as far as this is concerned. And I'll come to you, NDIWUM, briefly before we continue.
Yes, before the brief break, I was saying that I share the point of Professor Mark in total, 100%. The only solution in Cameroon that can make living and eating together a reality is a 2-state federation as it was in Fumba. And I will even go further to say that with the kind of government we have in place, we need a complete overhaul of this government. We need to rebuild. We need to start from crash. If you are building an up-story, say for example, a 3-level up-story, you build the first one, the second one, and by the time you are arriving the third, the house collapses, and you discover that there was a foundational problem. It is only but wise to go back to the foundation, erect a foundation that will carry the 3-step story building. I think this government needs a complete overhaul and a restart from crash, because like Prof said a while ago, I did not want to really go into the nitty-gritties of the Fumban. That's why I just mentioned it passively. Before Fumban, Foncha had a proposition that was given to him during the all-party conference in Bamenda. But do you know that Foncha confessed in Fumban that he had forgotten the terms of the all-party conference in Bamenda before arriving Fumban, and that was the genesis of the success of the Ahijos manipulation. So yeah, so there was a lot of manipulation that we are not really talking about that today, but we think the origin of our not living and eating together started from Fumban, like I said from the beginning, and it is only a real look into the errors of Fumban, okay, that will give us an opportunity to live and eat together. Thank you. That is also where the Anglophones will have a voice in this country. But as of now, we are an absorbed people. Thank you. Good day, Javis. The arrogance of CPDM members and officials is running out of hand. These people who were not even elected by people are claiming to be talking for the people. Ngole Hanef from Limbe, Ma Esther from Yaoundé say, good afternoon, Javis, and happy Sunday to the panelists. Thanks for this program. It's educating. God bless you people. Esther from Yaoundé. Madam Esther from Yaoundé, happy Sunday to you. This one read, good afternoon to you all in the studio. I am glad for the topic, sir. For a student to beat a teacher, that is a taboo. Let he be sent to school in Bamenda just for a term. Sense will come to senses will come to normalcy. It's coming from an anonymous sender. This one reads, I love the program. I'm very happy for what you are doing. Thank you very much, sir. This one reads, it says, hello guys in the studio. I am Robert Eno writing from Kumba. I just want to contribute to the program of living together among our French brothers. This problem caused by our government top officials, being a francophone or anglophone official, not from us, the common persons on the street. For example, even if you go to Yaoundé, you enter an office where you meet an anglophone official, he claims not to understand English. This one reads, it says, nice program. I'm following but not in Cameroon at the moment. What is the WhatsApp number? Is coming from Dicalo. Dicalo, the number you use to text is the WhatsApp number that we are using here in the studio. This other one reads, it says, hi, good afternoon to you all in the studio. I think it's a nice program. Thanks and God bless you. It's coming from anonymous sender. Good days to you all. Mr. Zhang Martins, Iapa, Anglophone of Cameroon. This other one reads, it says, hello, good afternoon to you in the studio. The Anglophone crisis looks like government in Yaoundé. It comes to say, it has come to stay. Let the truth rule justice, will peace reign. It's coming from Berignou in Douala. Thank you very much. We are seemingly running out of time. Professor Mark, before we take leave of you, I think your last word. I think you have time for your last word.
Okay, thank you very much. You see, we insist on, as an individual, I keep insisting that if Cameroon really needs to get to a place where we can consolidate our unity, and not only consolidate our unity, we eat together, we need to go back and rectify the errors which were committed from the very beginning of the creation of this nation. Yeah, you see, like I pointed out earlier, and I said, you can't claim that two persons need to sit together, because when you go back and follow the resolution 1608, you discover that there was a point 6 which was attached to it, which permitted that there should be a 4-man party that would permit the United Nations to be involved in the drafting of the constitution of this Republic of Cameroon and Southern Cameroon coming together for a federation. In that particular scene, there was an argument that France and La Republic of Cameroon, by then Mr. Okala, who was the Minister of External Relations of Southern of La Republic of Cameroon, argued against it and said that they should remove the point 6. So they withdrew it, recrafted it, and added something in the Article 5 of that resolution 1608, which Foncha did not see, because if he was a wise leader, he would have seen it, and that particular day would have declared that maybe we don't want to associate anymore, or if we have to associate, we need to go based on our terms. Because I'll be sincere to tell you, when the two of them came back and sat wanting to draft their constitution, Foncha was already in the pocket of Aijo.
Yeah.
Yes, was already in his pocket. And so in that case, Foncha was doing what he would please Mr. Aijo. And remember, after they finished their meeting in Manfe, NDIWUM, we thought that was the person that was agile and no, we need to separate. He's the same person who got up after and told Mr. Aijo that, wow, we appreciate, we'll be submissive, we'll do what, anytime you want us for something, we'll do it. So you discover that we might be turning here and blaming the opposite side, like Republic of Cameroon by then, forgetting to know that the people who were actually at the forefront to see us unite never worked for the interests of the people. They were working for their interests. The only clear-minded people were in that group were Joa and Mbele. Those were the people who had a clear mind, but they were not the head leaders. So at the end of the day, if we are suffering today, it is because of leadership, and that is the same problem we have today. We still have the same problem today. We have greedy Anglophone elites who are sitting in Yaoundé and dancing for the tune that is being played in Yaoundé, not for the people. And that is why you can see a member of parliament come and stand and say the government has said that. Are you working for the government or you are a member of parliament? You see, that is the error. She is a member of parliament who is supposed to take decisions and impose them on the executive. Now, I'm just simply trying to make our people to understand that
next Sunday we'll continue with the roller coaster of looking at it.
We do not need to blame our. You see, I'm not telling. I want to say at times when we blame the leaders, the French leaders, we forget to know that the real problem we have is us, the Anglophones. They are the sell out. They are the ones that have been selling us from the very beginning. They have sold all the entire territory for what they could keep in their pocket.
Yes, Prof.
And today the thing continues. So we call upon all these elites, whatsoever they might be called. You should start thinking for the people's good. When you go to Yaoundé, present the people's problems, not your problems. And live for the people, not for yourself.
Next week Sunday.
Those are the things. Thank you very much.
Well, on my part, I think Prof said.
Prof has been too vocal today.
Prof said greedy elite, and I want to think that they are hungry elite, because even those elite in Yaoundé, they are not feeling fine. They are feeling the pain of our marginalization, but they don't have the courage to speak it out. I want to say that you can't tell a crying child that you gave him food yesterday. Our elite started failing in Fumban. They are still failing. It is time that you people come back to your senses, because each time when one elite rises up a finger to fight for the people, like Honorable Wiba did, he is vomited by his so-called political party, and that is why till date Those are the kind of elite I've always wanted to look up to. So the powers that be govern us in a way that when you are not there tomorrow, we shall be able to govern those who shall be under us, and in a way that you people shall be satisfied even in your griefs. So living together and eating together is not yet a reality in Cameroon. It can only be a reality if we go back to the foundation where the problem came from.
Okay, thank you very much, NDIWUM Emmanuel. Thank you very much, Professor Mark. Good day, House of Commons. Jarvis, I love your attire. Watching from the United Arab Emirates. It's coming from Connect Tanwi. Kizitondi says, you are right, Prof. We cannot eat together because French people see us like nothing in that country. God help us. This other one coming from Rene A1. These are people watching us on Facebook. He says, no living together, Jarvis. Godi, our favorite viewer says, Mr. Jarvis and the panel to you. This one says, Clofi Badokam, he says, I really love this program, but I am unable to capture it. Taro says, that boy is wrong, but some teachers are very bad. They insult students and their families. My classmate was once insulted by a teacher. Your mother is very poor selling pop-off on the street. Teacher also needs to handle issues. This other one, Tita Julius, he says, good analysis from you guys. Good day, my more grace. This other one reads, he says, Jarvis, Mr. Emmanuel, my from 3 secondary school teacher, is been pretty long. Not bad. I mean, say, Prof, can you facilitate my participation? Who is that? Mark Anita Enoch. Anita says, Mark needs a bottle from me today. You have reviewed history to the core today enough to pass with A in GC ordinary and advanced level. Wow, good job, Professor. This other one reason Nobel Amin, excellent counsel from a true Africanist watching from Kumba. Jarvis, there are personal opinion that count as well. This other one reads, it says, crazy government. This one, I think I want to thank all those of you, Song Derek, all those who watch us on social media, who took our time to comment on our Facebook handle. In case you may want to be a participant on this program, my number is on the screen. You can get to me. We'll book you for next week edition. Hi, good day, good afternoon to you on the studio. Everlasting peace will come from True Transparent Dialogue. Marie Claire from Yaoundé. This one read, it says, good afternoon, greetings to you all. I thank you for always creating awareness to Cameroon. As long as the head of the country is still Mr. Biya, any other person being under his government will still be a great green snake in the green grass. We need God. This other one reads, it says, good afternoon to you all in the studio. Greetings to you all. The student who beat up this man's master should just be sent to the north, to the northwest. This one reads, say, we need men like Prof, and I love the program. It's helping us. I am Fonji from Limbe. Because of time constraint, we may not read all the SMS. I thank all those who took our time to participate. Good afternoon, guys. In the studio, I love your program. No living together. The problem for Southern Cameroon will fight for their independence till Bante. A message gotten. Greetings to you. Happy Sunday to all of you in the studio. Keep educating us. Happy Sunday to you in the studio. I am reacting on the issues of our MPs not living in their various communities. It's good for them live with their people. It's good for them to live with their people so that they know what needs to be developed. Some MPs and senators do live with their people from the CPDM party, just like in my area. Bella Mukichas is a good example. If the MP from Biame copy her brother from Kambe footstep, is not bad. We should encourage her not to criticize her. It is an easy task just to travel. It is an easy task just to travel from Bamenda to Kumbu without being attacked by Changshu boys, even being escorted by our military. This is a message from Mula Malenge Rogers from Bwasa Boya. Thank you, Mula Malunge from Boasaboya. I want to thank all those of you. I love the programs. Keep up. The Professor Mark is saying is very correct. Let's go back to our African roots. Thanks. This one. Greetings to everyone in the studio, especially Mr. Emmanuel. I think for us to eat together, we should allow Anglophones to control their region, not government putting French people to control us. It's coming from Kizito in United Arab Emirates. Thanks to all those who took our time to participate on today's edition of our program. This program comes to you every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30 p.m. It is called House of Commons. If you may want to participate in our program live, the numbers are on your screen. It is 676 4313846 676 4313884. You may want to participate on next week edition. When you send us an SMS or you call me, I will tell you what to do as far as the topics within the week are selected so that you can have an avangu as to what we will discuss on Sunday to participate. www.btmediagroup.com.net is our website, and you can get to our YouTube channel to watch all of our programs or download the programs. The name of our YouTube channel is BT Media Group on YouTube. Subscribe. All of our programs will be there. Facebook is My Media Prime. Twitter handle is My Media Prime. Twitter, Instagram, My Media Prime. I leave you with this. No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. No matter the matter, what might matter is your matter. And what should matter for you this day is that God is God, because He is God and He created you in His image and likeness. As you take part in Lent, be careful and understand that without God, there is nothing that is possible. With God, everything is possible. My name is TAH MAI JAVIS from Fengu Jombange. Thank Desmond. Thanks to you who work at the broadcasting studio. I want to thank all those of you who work at the broadcasting studio for making out time for this program. Once again, stay tuned for more programs on My Media Prime. Until we meet again, stay out of trouble and God bless Cameroon.